Welcome to FemSTEM, the podcast where we are dedicated to bridging the gender gap in STEM fields by spotlighting remarkable women making waves in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Joining me is Premlata Poonia, a visionary leader and the founder of Hamari Laado. Hamari Laado is an initiative dedicated to advancing girls' education and empowerment in rural India. She's also the author of Borders, Bridges, Belonging, a poignant book that chronicles her journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm really excited to delve into your journey, learn more about you and get more insights.
Thank you. Thank you, Tisha. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And hello, everyone, whoever is listening to this podcast.
Thank you so much. So to start out, currently you are the founder of Hamari Laado, right? So what are some initiatives that you have taken that to empower girls in rural India? Like what's the vision and mission behind Hamari Laado in simple terms?
Mhm. So as I was saying, we want to be a bridge. So there is a school, so we don't want to open another school. There are teachers who are coming and teaching. We don't want to institute new teachers. What we want to do, because we can operate across the length. You know what's happening in the US, you know that education system, you know what's happening in top institutes in India. Let's say I'm doing a PhD from IIT Jodhpur or IIT. So you can kind of, or I have my guide is at IIT Bombay, so we know what's happening in the top level, and then you can travel all the way to villages and know what's happening. So we are trying to see what are the areas where there is a gap, and how do we address that gap. So how can we be a bridge, and how do we address that through systematic programs. Like Pratham, for example, introduces literacy and math related programs, like how to improve the reading level of kids and math related this thing. So our idea is to not focus as much on education subject specific program, but things that are needed. So our one of our core program is for grade 6th and 7th for girls, uh, right before puberty, and it's called NEEV. It's a running based program, and it runs 10 weeks. The idea is at that age they should have ability to achieve something, so they complete a 5K at the end of 10 weeks. So what it does, it gives girls a freedom to be in public spaces, to run on the roads, to do, go from 100-meter to 5 kilometer over 10 weeks. So have that sense of achievement and feeling that we can accomplish something. They receive a medal at the end of the 5K and a certificate. So they take home something. They're generally the first one to take a medal home. They're first generation to go to school. So we are changed at a very young age. We want to give them sense that you can compete and achieve. You can be confident, which is what they won't get otherwise. If you just routine education, they're going and at home is what it is. So where would they get that additional, that skill and confidence that is needed for the rest of their life? Even when you become a CEO, you need that confidence. And I've been on that side of the world, that you need that confidence and skill everywhere in life. So we said we will start from that. Then we do career guidance program called Mark. Then after 12th, we do some scholarship, so they can continue, the girls performing really well can study after 12th and go into skill-based program like nursing, education diploma, vocational diploma, sports diploma. So bridging that, we're thinking now that we should do like a DigiGyan, like a digital literacy program. So we can do summer camp, or we should do a math-based program that is not just a regular one, but kind of a camp. So what is happening in city, and for a certain upper level of society, and what's lagging in the rural areas, and how do we bridge that gap through our programs is what our vision is.
That's nice. So, like you were saying, you give them like a sense of accomplishment, of pride. So, have you seen any like direct impact on them, like on from the Leave program, if I'm not wrong? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we've like 3 years we've run the program. Now we'll enter the fourth year from July. Last year I'd written to a school saying, hey, can you just give us a note saying the program was run in the school, because we are sending some data to the district education department, because we're keen to run the school in the program in multiple government schools. So he on his own wrote a note saying, we've been running the program here for last 2 years, and we've seen significant change in school culture. For the first time in school, 36 girls took part in sports. and out of which 6 went on to play at the state level. I would have never imagined that these changes would start taking place that quickly. Because once these kids have been introduced this idea of sports, being out, working as a team, achieving something, then when there is a sports event in school, the girls won't shy away. Otherwise, what happened when I first went to these villages, you walk into a school, there's a half time, kids come running, and the boys have taken over the entire sports ground. And girls are playing in a little corner, some badminton, something. They don't take ever the center place. That applies later on in all aspects of life as well, life and leadership. And the moment they become part of an activity like this and go through a program like this for 10 weeks, their behavior change. When the school has a sports event, they start to take part, they start to go forward because they know they can achieve, they can do it. And their hesitation is gone away. So that immediate first change we have started to see. We're going to analyze the education data very soon. Does it result into better educational outcome for like 8th grade Rajasthan as board exam? So this year when the board results are out, we can look at them and say, how do these kids compare, the ones who are part of our program compared to average mark? So we're going to do that analysis and looking at some more. But very first hand, the change is very visible. And another thing we see, we run this program for, let's say, 6th grade girls. The 4th and 5th grade girls start lining up saying, oh, we want to take part. When can we take part? So you start seeing that behavior change. Otherwise, kids are just, they have the time, don't want to come to school, don't enjoy school. A lot of that happens as well. So it changes the culture of school as well, especially for girls.
Yeah, yeah, I can see the joy and happiness on the faces behind it's visible. So,
Yeah.
there were two other initiatives of Hamari Laado. Can you elaborate on them a bit more as well? The,
Yeah, so Marg is like a career guidance program. So we've done few. Our ideal goal is to have something that is more experiential.
Mm.
But it's not easy. Like NEEM is extremely experiential program. It's all hands on. It's their experience of achievement. It's not me saying, oh, you achieved. They themselves know. We started with 100 meter, we could hardly run 100 meter. 500 meter we were tired,
Mm.
and 10 weeks through the program we're doing 5K. So they see that change, they experience it. It's not easy to make everything experiential just because the way it is. So Marg, our goal was to give them kind of a career guidance, but also expose them to that. So we did some camps with the BSF, with the like a info session with the BSF, because we are in the border area. So people, for the girls, get to see women as BSF officers. So I was talking about Marg. So I realized that it's not just information that will change them, it's the inspiration. And inspiration only happens when they see somebody they can relate with them. So we try to bring like a police officer who comes from a rural background, or an army officer, like a lady army officer who comes from a rural background. So that is our goal, kind of match information with inspiration and bring it to kids. So we've done it physically, but it's not scalable. So the idea is, do it, maybe build a platform online through which kids can see people like them, girls can see girls or like them succeed in different fields of life and then take inspiration. So that's our second one, Marg. And Giving Circle is our third one. We sponsored, our friend group sponsored 12 girls last year. We're looking to do about 25 to 30 girls this year. Brilliant girls after 12th grade, in 12th, in growing up in going to rural government school, coming from being first generation girls to go to school. They're scoring 95% marks, 96%, 94%. Like they're brilliant. I see their marks in economics 80 out of 80 in a board exam. So we want them to we want to make sure they study, they continue, they don't drop out um, for lack of access or resources. So our goal is in every village, if we can sponsor one girl and change her life, it'll inspire a lot of other girls in their communities. So that's our third program.
Mhm. So, oh, can you share any memorable moments? You're doing a very grassroots initiative, right? So you would have directly communicated and talked to them. What would be some, probably success stories or like some very memorable moments or turning points that reaffirmed your commitment to this cause?
Hmm. Actually, when I meet the mothers of these girls, that's what is the most reassuring thing for me, because they have sent the mothers are, and it's sad that they're younger than me. I'm 38, they're younger than me, and their daughters are finishing 12th grade. So they must have gotten married at the age of 14, 15, had a child before they turned 16. Their daughter is 16, 17, 18-year old. So they're 32, 33, 34. And they've sent their daughters to school for 12 years, right? They had no incentive to send. They weren't educated. They send their daughter to school in that government school in the hope that one day she will become something. And now they've reached completed 12th, and now they're like, okay, what next? So when we reach there and we kind of connect with them and help them figure out, here's what they can do, we'll sponsor. I just see their faces and I realize like this is what we are a dot in their journey. They have taken so much effort, and if we miss this dot, then the next dots probably won't connect, even though doing 12th is a good compared to where their mothers were, but it's not enough. We can't just say it's enough, okay, great, you've done 12th, and now get married. Right. So so I see our role, that journey of start becoming a dot for somebody is where we started, and I see us becoming that. And I see sometime a girl whom we are sponsoring, her older sisters at that time, and I told you it's only just happened 6 years ago when the schools have become till 12th. When her sisters were studying, the schools were till only 8th. So they got married at the age of 14, 15. And now they were there. Some of them have a couple of kids, some of them are pregnant, and they're seeing their sister going to study after 12th, going to a college, going to like a nice uh, skill-based program within the same family, same generation of girls. You can see that difference, right? So it's it's seeing and being there, and that's why we started this grassroots. I know I grew up in the same idealistic world all of us grow up in. You grow up and you one day you can go and change policies. And I, after having traveled the world, and then I realized I can change policy, but that doesn't travel down. You have to travel down, and you have to make that change on the ground. So when we see even one family, these girls, sisters got married at 14, have 3 kids by the time she's 19, 18, 20, and the younger one is now off. So basic infrastructure extremely critical. And then we become a dot in, sponsoring. And it's not enough, but this is they started, and we are happy that we are on that path and doing this journey.
Yeah, it's really nice to see like you are being a dot for so many lives of younger kids.
And I don't see myself. I just see like all these friends who work in so many places. So many friends work in, Delhi, Bombay, US, wherever, Singapore. And everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to say, okay, can I help just one person in my life? We're all working, we're busy, but what are we doing? Can we help one person change life? And then when they become a dot, I just help them be a dot. Right? Like, can you sponsor this girl? And people are more than willing to do that. For me, it's a journey of so many of us who are privileged. How can we become a dot for somebody who's not? Well, government has done so much. They've opened schools finally, and they've built a bank account, and they've built Aadhaar, and they've got the, let's say, roads and water and house and gas connection. But there's still more. There'll always be need for more. And how can we who have more, um, you know, help connect a dot for ones who don't,
Mm.
especially girls?
Yeah. So when you were doing Hamari Laado, when you started this initiative up, there would be a lot of many other different challenges. So what were some challenges that you faced and how did you overcome that?
I think in India, it's changing now with a lot of focus on startups and entrepreneurship. That's become a buzzword now. So at least that mindset is a little bit changing. But otherwise, I think the first challenge starts from the moment you say, "I want to quit my job and start something," right? Like you know how that goes down in your family, friends, conversation. People will say, "Oh, why don't you do a sabbatical and do it and see if it'll work?" Or they will say, "Take some time off or do part time," which is all valid suggestion. But sometime work like this, you just have to dive in, right? You can't have something in the back of your mind saying, "Oh, I'll try 1 year, and if not, I'll go back." 1 year is a really small window to, do a sabbatical and try this. This work is a long-term work. So, so first is just that, like your immediate surrounding and the response that they give to you. Then when you kind of actually start the work, then it's just even small things like how are the people perceiving you? Do they see as somebody who's here to do good work, or do they see, it's just somebody's here to do tick boxes, some NGO trying to make money. A lot of people have that mindset. If you're an NGO, you must be getting money from government and here to fill some forms. A lot of time that kind of perception bias comes in when you go onto the ground. So showing up every day and being there and doing the work and being clear in your intent, feeling like you're part of them, you're one of them. So it takes time. That trust building process is not easy and it's not clearly measurable. It's not math in that sense. So that takes time. And then when you think of this work in a long term, so let's say 3 year, 4 year, you do trial, you figure it out. Then you have to think from an organization perspective. How do I make my organization sustainable? What kind of people do I bring in? How do I pay them? Like, how do you, when you're a foundation, you're not selling a product. It's a different kind of work. So the financial sustainability, the organization sustainability, the getting the right kind of people, setting it up the right way, that becomes the third kind of change. So going from an emotional social pressure to feeling like you can do the good work to kind of, okay, we can do the work, but how long and how well? So there are different challenges at different stages. So this is kind of my broadly journey that's been so far. And we're still on to fourth year, so we'll see.
Uh, like you were mentioning earlier on about the digital divide. So, what do you think how does technology play a role in all of this? Do you
Mm.
think it plays a role? Are you planning to incorporate it in Hamari Laado, anything like that?
Mhm. Yeah. So digital divide, I don't mean to say in like that literal sense, because you will see, like I am not good at doing WhatsApp status, right? But you will see everybody in village doing status every day and the stories and the reels. I don't know how to take a reel from YouTube and upload on your WhatsApp. Like I literally don't know. But they know all of that. So there's access to information, digital, all that has happened in the last mile to the last house. That Antyodaya, that last mile has happened. The thing is how effectively you can utilize. But if you ask the same child to write a letter, application on a computer, they may not know it. Knowing Excel, knowing graphic designing, knowing coding, they may not know it. So that is the gap that is exists. But it won't be that hard compared to not knowing knowing nothing and then this. And a lot of kids are doing these courses also now. Summertime, 11th, 12th, like how when I was growing up in my summers in let's say 9th and 10th, I learned how to stitch like clothes, Indian clothes, salwar kurtas. But these days, kids are when they have summer break, they learn a computer course, even in villages. So there's the change happening. But we feel like we should introduce a program where at a young age, in grades eighth, let's say, we introduce them to like the basics of computer, the basics like a Word and a document and an Excel and a PPT and the basic graphic designing or the basic coding. I think that will be a good skill and a confidence building thing to have. So we are looking at that. We have one partner who's working on designing the curriculum, another nonprofit organization, and we want to test in 5 villages now because villages, a lot of village school, government schools have computer labs now. So we want to test in them, and if it goes well, then we'll slowly build it. But definitely, my idea is we should always keep adding programs, which are the gap programs, right? What we see in the latest kids at IIT Bombay knowing and what they might have learned in their school versus the villages, and how do we bridge that? So NEEV is our foundation, but beyond that, do we need digital program? Do we need math program? Do we need career guidance? So we'll continue to incorporate those.
Mm. So you mentioned you also want to target the individual giving back to the society. So how can listeners contribute to Hamari Laado's mission and help empower more girls in rural India?
Thank you for asking that. They can go our website. It is www.hamarilado.org, and Hamari is HAMARI Laado.org. So they can go and they can look at our programs and whatever speaks to them, they can donate. In fact, our NEEP program ends with a 5K, and we are going to run a campaign starting July of join our 5K wherever you are in the world on October 11th, which is International Day of the Girl Child. And as a part of registration, you can also donate a pair of shoes that will go to a girl running in rural India. So there are a lot of ways people can join the 5K. They can donate a pair of shoe. They can sponsor the program, or they can sponsor a girl for after 12th education, a rural girl. There are multiple ways for them to sponsor. So they can go on our website and sponsor, and we'll reach back to them.
With that, we have come to an end of our podcast. Wim, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey, your insights today. It was like truly inspiring to talk to you. Like I learned so many different aspects of your life, and it was really, really fun.
Thank you
This
so much for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for anybody who's been listening or watching it. Go look at our website, go look at the book, and do write to us with ideas. So thank you.
this is the FemSTEM podcast, where inspiration and knowledge collides to propel us forward towards limitless possibilities. Thank you.